Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Hedera's Hello Future Origins 2025 closing ceremony. The journey, as we all know it, has returned bigger, bolder, and expanded. The Hello Future Hackathon Trilogy is a three-part saga powered by Hedera in collaboration with Angel Hack, offering $550,000 in prizes across three amazing events: Origins, Ascension, and finally Apex, the finale. We're going to pull up on screen here the upcoming hackathon event, so you guys can click and screenshot that barcode, and you'll be able to learn more about Ascension, which is the next hackathon coming up. But this all started with Origins from July 21st to August 8th, where ideas took flight. Builders from around the world competed for $150,000 in prizes, turning sparks of innovation into working MVPs and Hedera's fast, secure, and sustainable technology. I want to welcome up to the stage first and foremost here, Ed from obviously from Hashgraph. But Ed, talk a little bit about what you guys witnessed with this hackathon. 4 amazing tracks. We've got 12 kind of winners here that are going to be showcasing their amazing innovation. And man, you guys have been absolutely crushing it with all of the hackathons recently. So I'm excited to hear more about this one.
That's right, Solomon, and I'm very happy to be here as well. Just for everyone out there, I'm Ed Marquez. I lead developer relations for Hedera at Hashgraph. And Hashgraph is that firm basically where the magic for the ecosystem happens. We drive a lot of significant initiatives when it comes to marketing, engineering for the Hedera ecosystem. And so as Solomon mentioned, I'm very pleased to be here today to close the Hello Future Origins chapter, 1 out of 3 chapters. And also we're happy to be here to celebrate our winners, the developers and builders that created the most impressive solutions in that span of 3 weeks from July 21st to August 8th. And so as Solomon mentioned, we had 4 tracks, one for AI and agents, another one for DeFi and tokenization, or also sustainability, and another track that we call the Legacy Builders track. And the goal with that one is to encourage continuity. So if you've participated in a Hedera hackathon, whether it is at a Web3 event or one of the previous Hello Future hackathons, we encourage you through this track to come back and keep building on Hedera to refine and optimize your solution so that we can help you get closer to hopefully a production or mainnet deployment. And so yes, out of the 3 chapters, a total of $550,000 in prizes, with this first chapter getting $150,000 allocated for those prizes. And so Ryan, to answer your question in terms of what we saw, incredible innovation, incredible dedication, and also it was great to see the caliber of questions and projects that were built out in all of those different tracks. And so I'm very happy to see, or get a chance to ask questions to all the builders here today.
Awesome. Well, I know we have, we're going to be getting into the agentic or the AI and agents track here in a second. I see we have Major Gains up here. Jonathan, we have Firas from Mariposa. I believe we may have Hedron with Sebastian up here. So Luis, if we could look down in the audience for Sebastian, that would be fantastic. But we know Hedera has made lots of strides, Ed, from in kind of one of those networks that has so many kind of unique solutions from the agentic AI and just the AI standpoint in general. What are some of kind of like in broad strokes, if you could inform the audience, like whether it be the agent kit or AI studio, there's been some really amazing things and tooling for developers and builders out there in the space to really kind of build on Hedera and not build on, not kind of at the ground level, but at scale. But I'd love to know kind of what you're excited about from the AI standpoint.
Right. So you mentioned 2 key pieces or 2 key tools for developers. One is the AI Studio, something that we announced a few months ago. And that is really a collection of tools to help people build with AI on Hedera. And so one of the critical components of that AI Studio is the AI Agent Kit SDK. And so what that allows you to do is to easily create agents that can perform actions for you on the Hedera network, autonomous agents, right? And so if you wanted to automate operations, whether it's with the core Hedera services and later on with tools in the ecosystem, you can build those type of agents using this type of SDK. And so when we think about AI as well, it's really helpful to think about it in 2 ways: AI for Web3 and Web3 for AI. And so when we think about Web3 for AI, I think Hedera has a natural fit, especially with the consensus service for things like data integrity, model training, and model lineage as you develop those AI models or fine tune them and so on. And then when we flip that picture and think about AI for Web3, that's where the world of agents becomes very relevant. That's where using LLMs to and agents as well to, power your development, to make your development much more efficient, and also to create maybe even new solutions, or have that assistant that is going to help you bounce ideas or refine your architecture and your code. That's where we see these two technologies coming together to help people create very powerful solutions. And so I would say for this hackathon, we saw both of those ends, right? I think we saw people getting very creative on how to use AI to build Web3 solutions very quickly, very compelling solutions. And then in the end, we saw great adoption of the Agent Kit SDK to create those agents that help people adopt Web3 and build solutions for Web3 more easily.
Awesome. Well, we're going to hop into the AI and agents track. For those that may not be aware, and I'm sure most people are aware, not only in crypto, blockchain, and DLT, but kind of across the entire globe, artificial intelligence is reshaping nearly every industry on the planet, from finance to healthcare to creative media. Global investment in AI is expected to reach over $300 billion by 2030, with agentic AI and automation driving much of that growth. As Ed mentioned, Hedera's AI Studio and AI Agent Kit leading the charge for innovation, providing developers the tools needed to integrate trust, transparency, and verifiable data. That being said, I'm going to stop rambling here and get into the weeds with some of these amazing hackathon builders. And welcome up to the stage Major Gains and Jonathan, as well as Firas and Mariposa. And also Hedron with, and I'm going to probably mispronounce the name, so I'll let you pronounce it for me first. But I want to get into each builder here kind of for 5 minutes or so. We'll start with Jonathan and Major Gains. Jonathan, tell us a little bit about what you built, just kind of an elevator pitch, a couple of minutes here, and then I've got a couple more questions for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. So Major Gains was an attempt to level the playing field, the first sort of steps towards empowering retail traders. Our team has a combination of industry experience from both the hedge fund space and traditional finance and banking leadership. And so we were thinking, what are some cool things that we could get in front of everyday users to start taking more of an advanced look at what's going on, and enable that through an agentic interface, allow them to have a conversation, build in a specialized knowledge base for some very advanced topics in DeFi, and wire it all into real-time data through a number of the DeFi platforms, as well as some fun light chain analytics solutions. And it's just meant to be the first step and a very long roadmap to do some fun and exciting things. But that's what we were most interested about, is getting the community some really cool stuff that they could start using right away, and experimenting for our team what might be possible for really cool ideas to build out in the future. So that's what it primarily represented. But we wanted to make a more level playing field in very asymptotic space.
Which I think is a huge deal, obviously. I think one of the biggest pain points still in blockchain distributed ledger technology is kind of the education gap. And that's just with crypto and blockchain technology, let alone financial education, which I know that there's a big barrier to kind of tackle there as well. So I think certainly something to be applauded, to be able to explain complex terms, whether it be distributed ledger terms or financial terms, in very plain English. So kudos to you guys, and awesome to see kind of leveling the playing field. So I guess the next question here is, what was it like? Like, why did you choose to build on Hedera? What did you find with the tooling? Just kind of broad strokes about Hedera for sure.
Yeah, so our team is really big into Hedera. We've bought in fully to the putting the future of finance on chain, and we've chosen Hedera to do that. We love a lot of the focus on both speed, the predictability of costs with how you guys have taken care of that. And we're really also excited about how governance will be handled. And we bought into the trust model of Hedera, but especially a lot of the tools you put together. Myself, I'm pretty new to Hedera, but most of the rest of the team has been on it for quite a while. And they couldn't believe, as I started to get up to speed with the team, how quickly I was picking up on how to make use of the Mirror Node API, how to integrate with a lot of the platforms. HiveMind was incredible. It answered so many questions just out of the gate for me. It got me started like from day one. It was fantastic. We really loved the AI Studio. For me, the MCP tooling was phenomenal. It was painless to put together a multi-MCP server together with the AI Agent Kit. And we got a chance to explore a number of different models through the AI Agent Kit. So it was a lot of fun, and I was really impressed the whole way through. So you guys did a great job, and the whole Hedera ecosystem has been very supportive as well. It was a pleasure to work with. Saucer Swap helped us out with an API key, and we're tremendously thankful to their team as well for enabling us through this process. So thank you both, and thank you to the larger Hedera ecosystem too.
And then I guess finally, what are the next steps here? I think one of the interesting things to watch with these hackathons and these accelerators is, kind of this lineage story that happens where there's a use case and it morphs and it changes. And, what are your plans kind of for the future? Do you plan to kind of continue building on Hedera, leveraging the tooling, taking what you've kind of built to the next step? Would love to hear kind of, I don't want to use the word roadmap because roadmaps are like the worst terms to use in blockchain, but just next steps.
Yeah, well, we're really excited for the trilogy aspect of this hackathon. It's just the beginning for all of us here, and we'd be really thrilled to continue. That's our plan. We're looking, so the original, this kind of first phase, it's more analytic. The agent kit allows very advanced tooling for interacting with the blockchain and the various platforms. And so we're really excited to see what's possible for reasoning about strategies and executing strategies. And that's kind of what we're still trying to figure out what might come next, but we're really interested in that. And specifically, our solution for this hackathon had a number of analytics around lending and staking on the various DeFi platforms and visualization for that. But it'd be cool to enable that with more fine-grained interactive control and make the agentic part of that more of a feature in the future. So that's kind of what we're thinking.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan. We really appreciate you joining us today, and hang out here as we continue down the pipeline of the AI and agents track. I'm going to welcome up Firas from Mariposa. Mariposa, well, he's going to tell you everything about what he built. I was going to give a little spiel here, but I'll start off and kind of ask, tell us about what you built. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here with you guys. First of all, and congrats for all the winners. And yeah, I'll be talking about Mariposa, which is an agentic wallet. And right now, like DeFi is broken for most people. And you've got nearly I think 500,000 HBA holders out there, and maybe 5 or 6% they are actually earning yields. Why? Because it is actually complicated. The barrier is huge, and you need to track 10 different protocols in order to monitor prices, constantly execute trades at the perfect moment. And yeah, if you miss that opportunity at 3 a.m. or something like that, yeah, too bad for you. So yeah, that's the idea behind Mariposa. So, and sometimes it gets even worse for enterprises. They are sitting on millions in digital assets, paying entire teams to manage treasuries, and still losing money to inefficiencies. So traditional wallets, they are digital vaults, they are dumb, they are passive, and they are leaving billions on the table. So Mariposa came here to solve this problem and to create an agent wallet with behind the scenes, there is financial advisors and financial agents who can help you to create your own strategy, to manage your assets, to make profits, etc., etc. So that's the idea behind Mariposa, which is the agentic wallet on Hedera.
That's awesome. I would love if maybe Ed, do you have any questions for Mariposa?
I think one of the aspects that stood out to me, by the way, huge shout out to all the judges from different parts of the ecosystem, reviewing all the submissions. They came from council members, from partner organizations of the ecosystem. So this wouldn't have been possible without their support and help. But when I was looking at Mariposa, one of the things that stood out to me was your focus on ease of use. I think you mentioned no hassle, no seed phrases. And so if you could comment on what was your thought process when it came to ease of use and trying to adopt or trying to drive the adoption of Web3 through that ease of use for people?
Yes, very good question. We all know, guys, that the user experience on blockchains, they are difficult. They are not easy, especially if you want to trade with low market cap coins or tokens. Okay, so there is a lot of parameters that you need to understand, slippage, specific dexes, etc., etc. And these terms, they are new to some people. Okay, they don't know about these kinds of things. So trying to create a wallet that understands all of these parameters for you and like try to communicate with you in easy language, let's say, would be like a banger. Okay, so yeah, and by the way, the idea of Mariposa came to me like, do you remember, like, guys, the Trump token? Okay, the Trump token like was like a huge opportunity for a lot of traders. There's a lot of traders who made a lot of money, but unfortunately for me, I was sleeping. Okay, because at 3 a.m., like it was 3 a.m. for me, so I missed that opportunity. But creating a wallet like autonomous that could track these kinds of things and understand all the hustle for you. Okay, you need only to set it, and it is autonomous. It wakes up in the middle of the night, execute transactions, do everything for you. Would be like a dream for every trader. Okay, and the goal in here is to create a wallet, not only a wallet but an ecosystem that when the user interacts with it, he doesn't need to go out of it. He could find everything in there, like of course the basic feature of a wallet, but also like trading agents, like DCA agents, feedback agents, analysis agents. You could interact with them with voice, with your voice message, or even with like chat, and they bring all the information for you. So you don't need to do your research on, like on Google or something like that, or try to browse other website. Everything like is within the wallet. You can even create NFT within the wallet, create tokens within the wallet. You don't need to go out of the wallet. Okay, so you find everything in there, and that's our first step, how to make the experience easier for especially newcomers to blockchain technology. And thanks to Hedera, with the tools that like Hedera provides us, like SDK agent kits, like this is very feasible for us. And even further, we could make these agents communicate between each other, like via like specific standards that exist on Hedera. So that's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, I think you mentioned kind of the experience building on Hedera, and I would love maybe just briefly if you could maybe expand on what that was like for you.
I'm sorry, the experience on Mariposa, you told?
Yeah, so using Hedera tooling, building on Hedera, using the, whether it be the agent kit or whatever it may have been that you guys leveraged, yeah, what the experience was like.
The experience was great. I like the documentation mostly, like it is very well explained. Okay, and there is like the tools, they are very diversified. You know, I mean, like especially for creating agent, like when you want to create an agent, like it is very easy. You choose the LLM of your choice, and it's very extensible. Like extensible, you could add the prompt engineering layers that you want. You could add the MCP servers that you want. You could even integrate storage or memory in order like to make like the agent more specific and like more accurate. So like the tools of Hedera, like, and especially like these tools, they are native, like they are natively created by Hedera. Okay, there is no like community or like tools created by community or something like that. No, they are natively created by Hedera. So that makes it more credible and like more trustworthy. Okay, but the tools, they are very, very great and very easy to use. Like that was my experience using them.
Well, we'll ask you the question everybody's going to get asked here. Next steps, what are you excited about for the future? And I won't use the term roadmap.
Yes. Talking about the roadmap, like yesterday we were like doing that roadmap, and today we just started on working like making the MVP look better. Since we already have the POC right now, the proof of concept, we have a small MVP. We will try to make it look better. We will try to like gather up all the features, okay, try to work a proper scenario, etc., and we will be looking for funding. Okay, we will try to prepare a pitch deck, and we will be looking for funding, and I hope by the first Q1 of 2026 26, we will be launching the first prod version of Mariposa.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Firas, for joining us up here today, and looking forward to seeing all of the future innovation coming out of Mariposa as well. Going to be bringing up Hedron to the stage here, and excited to learn about a tokenized index. Or is this tokenized? No, this is an AI DeFi guide for Hedera. So really excited to kind of expand down the rabbit hole here. And So from Hedron's standpoint, I would love to hear a little bit about, what you guys built, what you guys submitted into the hackathon, and introduce yourself, please.
So hi guys, good evening. It's evening night here. So I'm from India, and we guys tried to build something like when I used to talk to with my friends and family, they are not usually aware of how blockchain works and how we can trade on those. They usually whenever we talk about trading, they usually go with normal shares, and really low amount of people in my country or in my college used to know about crypto. And also what we and Sebastian did was we tried to make it really easier for the people, like common people, to trade make trading easier and on crypto. So what we did is integrated Hedera AI agent to some two different a- DeFi protocols. So it's just make everything really easier. You just go on our website and connect the wallet, and you just ask, hey, what's my account, what I can do. It will easily guide you that you can give these instructions to me, and we will just AI will just process all the backend thing, like signing the transaction. You just have to approve it, and it will just make it everything easier for you. And in future we are planning to add a cold wallet. So like most of people do not have like a MetaMask or a Hashback or any type of wallet. So we are just trying to integrate a cold wallet and everything just like a normal web 2 thing, so they don't have to worry about the hassles they have to go through, to add the wallet connection and all those things. So we just made everything easier for general people to trade on Hedera network or any blockchain.
Awesome. No, thank you so much. I'll ask Ed if you had any follow-ups for Hedron, because I think this is one of the kind of the really important things kind of in this space is I think that we're going to see a huge intersection between artificial intelligence and as I think we mentioned with Jonathan and Major Gains too, educating people. So just kind of your thought process is what you guys saw with Hedron, and if you had any questions as well, and then we'll move forward with learning more about them.
So just to jump in real quick, Solomon, that word that you mentioned is key. That education aspect of what these projects have built and how they're bringing AI to lower frictions, to lower barriers of entry, to help educate people. I think that's one of the most powerful elements that I'm seeing with all the projects that have been built. And one of the things that I really enjoyed from seeing what Hedron built is making that onboarding experience a lot easier, a lot more approachable, where you can just ask, the agent by use case, whether you're a beginner, which I saw in their pitch deck, they have a very good set of use cases for beginner users. And also if you're a more advanced user, you're probably more looking to optimize yield, or you have more in-depth questions. They also thought about how an agent can help those users as well. So I think that education and friction reduction and onboarding improvements is something that I really enjoyed from what Hedron built here. And so maybe the question that I have for you is around the integration process with platforms like Saucer Swap and Bonzo. If you could maybe talk about how that experience was like, that would be helpful perhaps for other builders watching as well.
So uh, the problem was with AI agent using WebSocket, but Serlin helped my teammate Sebastian. But integrating DeFi protocols were really easy, and at the time, Bonsai was not supporting testnet, but they really did great work, and we were able to integrate Bonsai and Source Swap really easily into our projects. So it was really smooth project, and Hedera did really great job, providing the agent kits and all those DeFi protocols. So it was really easier and for us to do that.
Well, let me ask you the question everybody's going to get asked here, and what's in the kind of the future for Hedron here? What's next? What are you excited about for the future? And thank you for joining, and congratulations again, by the way.
Thank you. And for future, we are thinking of integrating every type of DeFi protocols to Hedera, so it will be like one-stop solution for any type of uh, any type of trading, or like you come to Hedera and we will solve every type of problem like NFT trading. We are in future, in next 2 to 3 months we will try to integrate NFT marketplace. And it's just one future thinking. We have not decided on that, but let's see, there are some memes or some popular reels or TikTok going on. So you can just come here, and if you are an influencer, you can just come here, sign in with Instagram API, and you can mint NFT for that special viral memes. And then you can sell on Hedera open marketplace, sorry, Hedron marketplace. And it will be like so that if you are an influencer, you are earning from the platform, you can also earn from the NFT. So that's the thing we are trying to also integrate in Hedron.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to all of the AI and agents projects that were up here with us today. And that was Hedron, Mariposa, and Major Gains, Jonathan and Sebastian. Thank you guys as well. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a rotation here, and let me get up all of our next guests from DeFi and tokenization. So bear with us for a second here as we do a quick rotation. Let me get up Aegis Protocol, Hedera, and Hashfast. So I will bring up Aegis Protocol, and then we need Hedera. So I will look for Hedera as well. And Louise, if you can help me as well, that'd be great. I guess for some context here, decentralized finance and tokenization obviously continue to transform global markets. By 2030, experts project that we may see around $16 trillion worth of tokenized real-world assets, from currencies to RWAs like real estate and commodities. Hedera's technology with fast settlement and one of the greenest networks, if not the greenest network on Earth, is uniquely positioned to support this shift. And really excited to hear about the projects joining up from a DeFi and tokenization standpoint. Ed, I would love your standpoint on here before we get into the weeds with just how important this track is, especially in an ecosystem like Hedera that is, a huge opportunity for people to come and build on Hedera right now with what, the capabilities are and just where DeFi is headed on the network.
Absolutely, Solomon. As you mentioned, Hedera is uniquely positioned not only for where it is as an ecosystem, but also because of the capabilities of the technology, right? I think we all know about that, the fast times, the high throughput, the finality. We all know about the geeky things that enable, from the technology perspective, great solutions. But even more importantly for new builders, for use cases, is the tremendous opportunity that the ecosystem provides right now. And so why combine these two themes of DeFi and tokenization? And I think they're very closely related, right? I think DeFi is one of those areas where it started purely from Web3, and incredible innovation happened with new protocols, new financial instruments, and a lot of that generated new tokens that you could do new things with. And so that kind of naturally bridges to tokenization. Now, the last thing I'll say on DeFi with Hedera is, again, the keyword is opportunity. So, I think there's plenty of room to grow that ecosystem, to make the user experience a lot easier on the DeFi part. And in a way, that's what we saw with some of the projects and submissions that we received. And then when it comes to tokenization, I think that's a trend that is going to be everywhere, right? I think Lehman and Mans very early on identified the trend there, which is everything is being tokenized, whether it's carbon assets, whether it's financial assets, whether it's real world assets like real estate, or even commodities like diamonds and many other things. Everything is being tokenized because when you represent those assets in a digital ledger, you open up a world of possibilities, liquidity, accessibility, and new things that you could do with those assets with this new technology that we have through distributed ledgers. And so very impactful, very important technologies, and very exciting to see everything that was built for these tracks. And so with that, I'll pass it over to you, Solomon, so that we can hear from the winners.
Sure. So I wanted to first talk about, just briefly opportunity. And if you guys see kind of the very top, the next hackathon coming down the pipeline here is Hello Future Ascension with $150,000 in prizes. You can scan that QR code, or you can go to hellofuturehackathon.dev, we're talking about Origins right now with the 12 winners across 4 tracks, $150,000 in prizes during this hackathon. But the next one is coming right up, is Ascension, $150,000 in prizes. You guys can see here the 3rd of November to the 21st of November. So scan the barcode at the top, go to hellofuturehackathon.dev and learn more. So I'm going to hop back in here and get my camera up here. And we're going to move over. And I kind of first want to bring up Aegis Protocol. Actually, really cool name, by the way. So for, I'm sure you guys didn't use this because of like the Navy, but I was in the Navy, and there is like an Aegis systems in the Navy. So that rang a bell for me. But I'm going to bring up Aiden. And Aiden, I would love if you could tell us about what you built with Aegis Protocol. And yeah, thank you very much and congratulations.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Solomon. But first, I guess I will introduce myself first. My name is Aiden. I'm the CEO and also the co-founder of Aegis Protocols. And yeah, maybe I will just tell you guys a little bit about the Aegis Protocol. So basically, Aegis Protocol is an on-chain governance that we're trying to make a safety net for everyone that using cryptos. Like, to explain Aegis Protocol, actually, I would like to bring the problems that I seen or the aha moment that my teams find out when using cryptos that make us want to build these projects. So yeah, I guess everyone's who using cryptos ever felt like a hard stop when they're trying to transfer their funds. Like, you have to write the target wallet address, and you can just maybe make a typos, and yeah, simply just can lose all of your funds when you do the transfer click. And also, it can even getting more worse when you just forget about your private key or your wallet, or maybe you can just thinking, what if what will happen to my assets or crypto assets when, let's say, I'm just gone from this world. And yeah, that's the 2 main problems that we are trying to tackle from the for the Aegis protocol. Because of that, we're trying to build 2 main protocols for our systems. The first one is called Relay. So a relay is basically a double check process for anyone who trying to transfer their funds. Like, for example, I want to transfer $100 to Ben. Like, I will trigger the transaction first. Maybe I will send $1,000 to Ben, and when the smart contract is already triggered, the Ben will get notified. Hey, Aiden want to transfer you $1,000. Then maybe Ben can approve the transactions, and then the Aegis protocol will also get back to me to give a notifications that say, hey, Ben is already approving the transactions. Do you want to continue it or not? And from my side, I can just approve it, and the fund is really actually transferred to Ben. Yeah. So by this protocol, we are actually trying to give a consent from both the sender and also the receiver, so that a mistakes like writing a wrong wallet address or making typos when you're trying to send your funds is less likely will be happens. And the second protocol, or also the system that I want to share with you guys, is the automatic transfer protocols that both can be scheduled or can be unscheduled. For example, if you want to make a scheduled one, you can just, let's say, you want to transfer $10 of USDT worth to Ben, maybe, let's say, for the next Monday. You can set up like that. And also, we have the unscheduled one. The unscheduled one is actually, we are using it for the inheritance function. So let's say you don't know whenever you will losing your private keys, or maybe you just wondering what will happen when you're gone. So maybe you can just set up your inherit wallet. Maybe you can put the wallet address of your families or your friends. Then maybe if you don't active for 3 months, our system will detect it, and we will try to mitigate the risk by transferring all of your funds, or at least the funds that you are set up from our platforms, to the inherit wallet to make it still accessible. And yeah, this can simply be used by your friends or your families. And yeah, I guess that's how I will explain about Aegis protocols. Hope you guys understand it.
Awesome. No, thank you so much. And I would love if you could kind of, I'm going to combine 2 questions here. What was the experience like building on Hedera, and what are kind of the next steps for the future for you guys?
All right. to be honest, I'm not the one who writing the codes, but my friends, Yuvendra is the one who responsible to making the technical writing code and something. But also help them to like reading documentation and also give them the sign what kind of function that we can use. And from his side, he said that it's really fun to develop in Hedera because the first one that he highlights is the documentation is very clear and they can read it very quickly, and he can really use all the function that we need. And also, if we're talking about what's next for I guess the first steps that I want to do is to having like a third party audit process, because yeah, as I mentioned in the protocol page, I guess we're also targeting the organizations or DAO to become our customers. So yeah, to build the trust for them, I guess it's an unnegotiable things to having like an audit trails for our company to make sure that we are safe, we are don't do any fraud or something. And yeah, I guess that's the first steps that I want to do. And the second thing is actually we got a lot of feedbacks on Hedera Discord community, and yeah, I'm so thankful for that. And yeah, I guess we will try to improve it first, improve Hedera to, improve the protocol to make it more accessible and also easy to use for our future user. And yeah, I guess that's what we will do next for
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And it's I think certainly when we talk about inheritance and digital wills and programmable transactions, I mean, that's just the way that this space is heading. So awesome to see the innovation coming out of Aegis Protocol, Aiden, and congratulations for winning within the Hedera Hello Future Origin Hackathon. So the next project we're going to kind of get into the weeds with here is I'll go with Hashfast. And if I mispronounce your name, please correct me, but I'll go with maybe Anne for now, but you can correct me. But I would love to learn, tell us a little bit about what Hashfast is, what you guys built. And yeah, thank you so much and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, and hello, everyone. My name is Anneloes, and I built Hashfast. And Hashfast is a user interface for payment links. So these payment links make it easier for people and businesses to receive payments on the Hedera network. Using these payment links avoids errors like wallet address typos, and it reduces complexity. I actually had this idea for quite a while, and the inspiration came from Tiki, which is an app we use a lot in the Netherlands, and it's for splitting a bill. For example, after you went to a restaurant with friends, you can use Tiki to split the bill and basically create a payment link for your friends.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. And I think, I'll ask Ed, and I'm sure, Ed, you have something maybe to add here as a question. I think one of the really interesting, at least from my stance, the kind of some of the coolest projects that I see with coming out of these hackathons are ideas that are just like so straightforward and simple, because I believe personally like that adoption of blockchain and crypto is going to be integrated into our like everyday lives in ways that we already do things. It's just going to make things better. So when I hear about payment links, which is going to, remove the kind of the error process and people maybe making errors with crypto and blockchain, and making things easier, I think it's awesome. But Ed, I'm curious if you have maybe a follow-up question for Anneloes from Hashfast.
Yeah, I have some follow-up thoughts and a question. So in terms of thoughts, I really enjoyed the ease of use. And as Solomon mentioned, that focus on helping users prevent errors, because I think that's one of the fears that we see when it comes to crypto adoption, right? If it's my keys and my assets, now if I mess up, the asset is gone forever. And when you help the users avoid that type of scenario, I think that's, certainly a layer of assurance or a safety net where, you don't have that concern of sending the wrong amount to the wrong receiver. And so kudos to the solution that you built on that. And the other aspect that I really enjoyed of your solution is that ease of integration with any Hedera wallet that is compatible with Hedera Wallet Connect, as well as that ability to manage, your history of transactions and in the dashboard that you provide. Now, my question is around that experience with integrating with the ecosystem wallets and Hedera Wallet Connect. What were your thoughts on that aspect of it?
In my experience, it was really easy to actually build this integration. I already had built some other apps on Hedera also with payments. This that and the documentation is also great. So no problems with that actually.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear. Solomon, I know you're probably going to ask at some point about the future and next steps. And one of the things that I want to cover once we get to that point is I'd love to ask questions around revenue and business models. I understand that this is, for many projects, this is an MVP. But one of the things that I liked about your submission, Analos, is that you included and put some thoughts around revenue options and ways of monetizing this. And so by no means in an MVP hackathon, it's required to think about the business model just yet. But I love that you put that attention to detail and that level of thought, because with this trilogy, that's going to become more and more important as we go into the second chapter and the third chapter, which is the finale, right? We want to see, of course, that technical body of work, but also thinking about how you would bring this to a real use case when it comes to revenue and business models. So another kudos to you, Analos, on your level of attention to detail there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm curious. Maybe can you think? I would love if you could maybe expand a little bit on that, just because I do think it's such an important thing within this space. Is that we see all these kind of people that are building and innovating and all this cool stuff, but at the end of the day, like, burnout is a very real thing when you're trying to innovate. And burnout is less likely to happen if you're building kind of a real business model on the back end of your technology. So I would love maybe, Analos, if you could just give a one minute or so on why you kind of took that extra step and thought about how this is going to maybe apply in the real world with kind of a revenue model and business model there.
Yeah, of course. Where to start? So right now, the revenue options are not really implemented, but I'm thinking about a few options. For example, adding micro fees to each transaction, but also thinking about a freemium model. So some features are paid, some features are free, and also maybe, for example, API access for businesses, and then also make that a paid feature. And why I think about it is, like you said, you need to have some income and you need to cover the costs, like database hosting and hosting of the domain and the app. So I think it's really important to have at least some ideas why and how you can get some revenue to continue building and getting it live.
100%. Well, thank you so much from HashFast's standpoint. We really appreciate you joining in. Congratulations. And as Ed mentioned, obviously this hackathon is we're only 1/3 of the way through, so it's going to be exciting to watch the innovation that comes out. And I wanted to get to Levon from Hedera. Levon, if you could tell us about what you guys built. Welcome up to the stage and congrats.
Hello, Levon. Thank you. First of all, we built Hedera, which is quite catchy name for the project that is built on top of Hedera. I'll start from the story. As you mentioned before introducing this segment, today we have like huge kind of surge in tokenized assets. We have all kind of stocks, commodities, etc., that are being tokenized, and that's going to be the trend of like foreseeable future. Now, when it comes to investments, one of the most important things is to hedge your investments, right? And also to invest in some baskets of the assets. That's what basically all the funds do. And currently we have around 10 trillion USD sitting in ETFs. Now, what we built is a fully trustless solution on top of Hedera, where anyone can create their own index and have very specific, like however they want, very specific allocations of the tokens. And then anyone can come in and buy that index. Cool thing about Hedera is that everything, as I said, is trustless and everything is verifiable on chain. And the curators who are creating the index tokens are not, in fact, controlling your assets, but they are getting a small commission out of each trade that you do. As for first stage for MVP, we built an integration with Saucer Swap and made around 5 Hedera native assets available for creating indexes and for trading. So yeah, that's the project that we worked on. Now, I can continue with the future as well.
Oh yeah, please.
Because for the next round, and I believe it's possible to continue working on the same project. I hope it is. Plan is to include not only Hedera native assets, but to use layer 0 to bridge some other blockchain assets as well, which opens lots of doors to some of the exclusive tokens that live on, let's say, specifically on Ethereum or specifically on Solana, like tokenized stocks, which are also quite trending right now. Some liquid staking tokens that can be retrieved on their home chains. So for the future of the project, next step is to use layer 0 or other cross-chain tool or messaging service to allow anyone using Hedera to buy the tokens and assets that live on another chains. And that's going to be our next big goal. And then comes the launch phase, which can be, again, continued with some of the quite important instruments. Since those index tokens are like regular ERC20 standard tokens, there are lots of DeFi products that can be built around it, right? For instance, like simplest example is, you could use those tokens as collateral and take a loan with it. So you will be in the situation where you have, Apple stocks, Nvidia stocks, Bitcoin, Hedera, and you just want cash and you take out USDH as a loan, which is, quite impressive product from usability perspective, I think. So
No, 100%.
yeah, that's kind of short road for us.
No, I totally agree. I think one of the most empowering things of where this technology goes is not only the democratization of finance and financial access, but also the ability to customize, because at the end of the day, every single person in the entire world is in a different situation than every other person in the entire world. They have a different risk tolerance. They have a different X, Y, and Z, financial literacy, whatever it may be. Last question I have for you, Levon, is maybe 30 seconds. Can you just tell us on what your experience was like building on Hedera? And yeah, thank you.
It was super smooth. Like I had some previous experience with building Hedera on other hackathons. However, this is my first successful one. However, I had experience, and EVM compatibility is just a game changer. Like you built everything very smoothly, and everything works. So yeah, it was quite simple to get grasp on building on Hedera.
Awesome. Well, thank you to Hedera and Hashfast and Aegis Protocol. Certainly, tokenized real-world assets live on Hedera, and DeFi and tokenization is certainly a very, very exciting area to watch. Another exciting area to watch, and I think, I don't know, it'd be hard to argue against Hedera as a network as far as the strides made from the ESG and sustainability standpoint. So, I'm going to do a rotation here. So bear with me for a second as I get up our sustainability guests here. And thank you to Luis. Sustainability is no longer optional. And I've brought this up multiple times. It's not just going to be one of these kind of wanted things in this space, but more so almost going to be mandatory from an adoption standpoint. The World Economic Forum estimating that blockchain can help reduce 10% of global carbon emissions. Hedera is already the most energy efficient DLT flagship sustainability solution. The Hedera Guardian is revolutionizing ESG reporting with literally some of the largest advisory firms on the planet. Guardian provides an open source platform for creating and verifying digital environmental assets like carbon credits, ensuring trust and transparency in global sustainability markets. Ed, I want to invite you up to the stage here for just a second and maybe kick off this track. I think, what's been really interesting to watch, and I'll give a shout out to Dovu. We've seen a lot of traction around Dovu, and they're leveraging and helping to build some of the portions of the Guardian too. But Ed, from your standpoint, I mean, how important is ESG and sustainability, and where does kind of Hedera stand as kind of, I mean, I think one of, if not the kind of pivotal solutions in Web3 for where this, where these enterprises and institutions and really where the world is heading?
Yeah, I think ESG, sustainability are very important aspects for any enterprise or any new solution that you may be building, right? A lot of it is driven by regulation. So if you think about places like the European Union, regulation for ESG is only becoming more and more important. And of course, as we know, with the awareness of the market about our environmental impact, I think the attention for sustainability is only going to gain more traction and relevance in the years to come. Now, Hedera is uniquely positioned, again, from the capability perspective, but not only that, also from the ecosystem that exists and the set of tools that exist. So Solomon mentioned the Guardian, and what that is a workflow policy engine. So a tool that allows you to create, monitor, and deprecate your carbon assets from the minting and the initial emission to the tracking throughout the life cycle, all the way until the deprecation of that carbon asset. And when we talk about the ecosystem of the Guardian, an important recent development was that partnership that was announced with Vera, which is the largest registry of methodologies that exists. And a lot of those methodologies have been digitized so that people can easily adopt them and bring them into the Guardian and align with those digital with those methodologies for how these carbon assets are created and tracked throughout their life cycle. So a lot of the focus for the track was around how to leverage the Guardian or how to expand that Guardian ecosystem to create compelling solutions. And we also saw some new creative things. And so it was a very compelling set of submissions that we received for this track. And that's the impact that we expect to see with these folks building towards this sustainability and ESG track. So back to you, Solomon, and let's hear from the winners.
Awesome. So super excited to invite up to the stage Ahmad from Green Trace, and I would love to learn a little bit about what you built and what you submitted, and congratulations.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Imad, and I'm the creator of Green Trace, which is basically a blockchain-powered carbon management platform that makes sustainability measurable, verifiable, and transparent. So the idea of the project kind of started with a simple frustration. Like today, carbon accounting is very messy and it's often opaque and it's very, very easy to greenwash. So companies rely on these spreadsheets and very unverifiable claims, which create a lot of mistrust. So I wanted to change that, and Greentrace tackles this problem head on by providing an accurate emission calculator and immutable blockchain certificates and a transparent marketplace for carbon credits. So, and all of this is built on Hedera's carbon negative network, of course. So, in short, we're turning sustainability into something you can prove and not just promise. And let me also tell you a little bit more about the project itself. So, like I mentioned, Greentrace is a verifiable carbon management platform which is built on Hedera, and it helps organizations accurately calculate their greenhouse gas emissions. And we also have a feature where you can mint tamper-proof sustainability certificates as NFTs and transparently buy and sell and even offset those credits from your certificates. And we've also added many GRI aligned reporting tools like the GSG calculator with more than like 200 plus fuel types to calculate your scope 1, scope 2 emissions. And we've also added a new tool called SEMA, which is basically a stakeholder engagement and materiality assessment tool, which kind of simplifies the sustainability disclosure procedure. And of course, all of these are completely audited with HSC. So it's completely audit ready.
That's awesome. And I would love maybe just if you could talk about your experience building on Hedera, leveraging any of the tooling on Hedera, and tell us what you're excited about for the future. What's next?
All right, sure. So, we're building, it's a sustainability project. So it completely makes sense that I go with Hedera. There are many reasons, but I can point out few, like it's a carbon negative network. So Hedera itself offsets its emissions. So it aligns perfectly with my sustainability focused project. And, there's obviously enterprise grade services like the Hedera Consensus Service, HCS, which enables immutability and low cost audit logging, because the logging of all this information was the most important part of my project. So it's completely audit ready. And of course, HTS as well, which simplifies the tokenization. And of course, efficiency. The energy cost per transaction is orders of magnitudes lower than any other traditional blockchain. So it doesn't make sense to fight climate change using an energy hungry chain. So that was one of the main reasons why I picked Hedera to build on it.
And what's next for you guys at Greentrace?
Yeah, so next would probably be scaling into an enterprise adoption, and obviously, as you mentioned, the Hedera Guardian, adopting and integrating that completely with mostly and hopefully all of our tools and expanding on it. So we would integrate with organizations that wanted an automated GSG accounting and verifiable ESG reporting. And in the long term, I see this becoming a plug and play sustainability stack that any organizations from, like startups to multinationals can use to manage and prove their climate impact.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations to Greentrace, and thank you, Ahmad, for coming up today. I want to move over to Veritas, and
thank you so much.
Nikhil, if you could tell us about what you built, and congratulations for winning.
Thank you, sir. So basically, my name is Nikhil Sharma, and I'm presenting Veritas. So Veritas is basically a Latin word of truth. It is a blockchain-powered verification platform which designed to close the critical trust gap between the consumer and brands by bringing the immutable proof to supply chains. So today, consumer have no way to truly verify product claims. When brands market their product as 100% organic or ethically sourced, so we are forced to simply trust them because consumers have no option of that. So this lack of transparency creates a massive trust gap, which enabling greenwashing and false advertising, which harms both consumer and genuinely sustainable companies which are truly doing that. So what Veritas doing is it creates undeniable public proof for any product claim using the HCS as a consensus service as a global immutable notary. We replacing the marketing promises with cryptographic proof. Process is just simply and powerful. You have to submit the claims. Everything is recorded on the Hedera blockchain, and you have a public verification. Anyone can see, then scan a product QR code or enter its batch ID to see the immutable on-chain proof for themselves. So That's the core idea of Veritas.
That's awesome. So I have to, like, an inside joke. My wife and I will be at the grocery store, and it's like when we buy stuff that's organic, it's like, yeah, but I can't really tell. I'm just kind of taking the manufacturer's word for it, right? I do think we're moving towards a future where you're going to 1000% not only be able to, want to tell from a consumer standpoint. I think you're going to be mandated. It's going to be mandated for these manufacturers to have that kind of full life cycle management. So I really like the idea. What was your experience like building on Hedera? And as Ed mentioned earlier, do you have kind of a revenue model in mind for the product, and kind of tell us what's next?
So my journey was good. I'm deeply passionate about this idea before the hackathon even start. But when start, a lot of ideas popping in my head, but I still go with this. So this the turning point was when I reading more about the Hedera. I got to know that it is carbon negative, which actually discovering for me. It was a fundamental requirement for this. So it was the moment that the project became truly whole and had a commitment to the sustainability meant our technology would reflect our mission, which combined its incredible speed and low fees which Hedera provide, made it the only logical choice. So for the that from there the hackathon itself was an intense bit to bring the vision to this idea. I just need a validation that I'm doing the right work, which I got from the judges. Thank you for that. So I will work on that. There is no revenue model right now, but I thought about sell as a service, like companies provide as a that it is a Veritas proven thing. So consumer got to know that they are taking the right thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing all the future innovation out of Veritas. And I think it's certainly, one of the use cases that is going to be, quite literally in our everyday lives. And we're not going to really have to think about the tech 20 years from now. It's just going to kind of happen. You can scan a QR code and you can see where everything, comes from. But I also want to bring up to the stage Notability, and congratulations to Jacob and Zach from Notability. Tell us a little bit about what you guys built. And welcome up to the stage, Zach and Jacob.
First, thank you so much for this opportunity, right? It means a lot, right? That whatever we've been doing is actually tackling one of your issues at Hedera. So Nobility, right? It's a platform that turns what most of us see as waste, right, into something meaningful, right? Clean energy, income for communities, and real measurable climate impact. Now, why was it built? Right, that actually goes back to my own experience, right? Growing up, I was constantly seeing UNICEF ads and other stories about people living without electricity, clean water, or safe environments. At first, it just felt like I was just watching, feeling sad, and then moving on with my own life. But over time, kept asking myself, right, how can I actually make a difference? And I realized that awareness alone was not enough, right? And at the same time, I noticed that organic waste, right, food scraps, leftovers, right, were just rotting away or being burned, right, releasing methane, which everyone knows is one of the most potent greenhouse gases. And yet, the same waste could be a source of energy for communities that desperately need electricity. So that's when Nobility came to life. So a system that turns waste into electricity, right, and it prevents methane emissions and issues VC credits so that the impact is real and trusted, right? And honestly, this hackathon gave me a chance to build a POC and see that this idea actually works, right? Imagine a village, right, where the waste they produce every day is powering their lights and phones. That's the kind of real impact that I think Hedera, right, and everybody is aiming for.
100%. And this is interesting because I think that one of the things that I find really interesting with like the renewable finance and kind of just the ESG stance in general is like I really do think that the technology, it's kind of the same way that I kind of different use case, but it's the same way that I kind of think of healthcare. I think that like refi is incentivizing, you know, meaningful incentivization of like actually contributing to green initiatives or ESG is the same way that I look at like healthy initiatives. Like when you go to the doctor 10 years from now, maybe you're going to be able to get micro payments for like doing something healthy. Same way with like, you know, doing something healthy for the planet. And Ed, I would love if maybe you could inject in here for just 1 second and either have a question for Notability or a comment.
Look, my overarching comment for the 3 winning projects is that I love the problem statements that they're tackling, right? It's real problems that we all care about when it comes to, okay, are we actually double counting these carbon credits? Or how are we tracking, you know, when somebody says it's 100% sustainable or ethically sourced? Or like in the case of Notability, what are we doing to track that organic waste in a way that, you know, is actually having a positive impact for the planet? If that's the case, how are we doing that tracking? And so my question for Jacob is, you know, I did see the system architecture in your PDF, but at a high level, if you could help us paint the picture, right? Because you mentioned that organic waste, if it's going to be used for energy production, give us a layer down of what that process looks like, right? From the verifiable credential issuance and the entire tracking that happens in your solution.
Right. So in the first stage, right, because it was a mock, right, we were thinking about basically deploying Hedera Guardian onto a Raspberry Pi, right? So this Raspberry Pi would be attached to probably a biogas generator, right? And it would allow, right, because in Africa, right, there's a problem with you know, where does your electricity actually go, right? You see solar farms, you see so many renewable energy, but why are there still villages in Africa with no electricity, right? So this is where Notability comes into place, right? Imagine you have a Raspberry Pi deployed with Hedera Guardian and the rest of our backend, which is able to track, right, your biogas data. And this biogas data is tamper-proof, right? So from there, Hedera Guardian will be able to do the rest, right? VC, VP generation, everything's on chain, right? So that's I'm pretty sure the next question will be, why do we use Hedera's architecture in the first place? And I think this answers that as well.
100%. I think it's I think you bring up a really interesting point, Jacob, too, with it. Sometimes, you know, I've tried to bring this up recently. Like, I think we're going to see solutions that are tying in other areas of technology. Like from a DePIN standpoint, like decentralized physical infrastructure, like that's all of these different solutions. Like, I know earlier we were talking about agentic AI, like there's a lot of kind of crossover from these different things. But Jacob, before we let you go here, we want to kind of know future plans for Notability, what you're looking forward to for the future. Do you plan on continuing to build on Hedera? As Ed mentioned earlier, do you have, you know, kind of some thoughts around revenue models? Wherever you want to take it here for kind of a closing statement, Jacob.
Well, I think for Notability, right, it's always the people's interest first, right? Revenue might be something that we might consider in the future, right? But I think the core of this project is to help the people, right? So for Ascension, right, most likely we'll try to tie up with some people in Africa, right, small communities, to see whether they might be actually interested, right, in taking a free Raspberry Pi, right, which has Hedera Guardian and all of the Hedera tech stack deployed on it already, right? I think that's the next steps for Ascension.
And as well, thank you so much, Jacob, and thank you to Zach from Notability, and thank you to Green Trace and Ahmad and everybody that was in the AI track. I don't want to forget Veritas as well and Nikhil. But yeah, as Jacob mentioned, and before I bring up our kind of next guest, which are legacy builders, Ascension is coming up next. You can scan the barcode at the top. $150,000 in prizes. And that is, right now we're talking about part one of Hedera's kind of 3-stage epic hackathon. But we are very quickly moving into part two, 150K in prizes, and then Apex, the finale as well. But super excited today to bring up some OG legends within Hedera, legacy builders. Great innovation builds on strong foundations. The Legacy Builders track through the Hello Future Trilogy Hackathon Origins highlighted teams that combined proven models with fresh Web3 powered approaches around the world. More than $5 trillion a day moves through legacy systems, and Web3 builders are finding ways to make these processes faster, more secure, and more inclusive. So I'm super excited to get into the weeds with kind of some of the legacy builders up here. And Ed, this is probably an interesting track for you because you guys all have seen people that are consistently trying to innovate in this space, and just kind of your thoughts on this track in general and how awesome it is to see I've had Luis on before. So hey, Luis, I see you up here. And yeah, but your thoughts, Ed.
Absolutely. And it's really great to see these faces once again. To set the stage for this track, the feedback that we have received from hackathons is that they're a great place, for people to try the technology, for people to innovate and build a solution. But what happens afterwards, right? Because there's only so much work that you can do during the focus time of a hackathon. But if you want to keep developing that solution, optimizing and refining it to a point where you turn it into a real use case or a real business, that's one of the limitations where people run into with hackathons, or that people run into with hackathons. And so with this track, precisely, we want to empower those builders that have won before, that have participated in one of our previous hackathons, to come back, keep refining, keep optimizing, keep building to get you closer to either a conversation with the Hedera Foundation or to get you closer to a mainnet deployment, because we understand that those prices are really helpful when you're in those early stages of maybe developing your MVP or creating your business early on. And so that's why we want to see these folks that have come back from previous Hello Future hackathons, from previous ETH Global events. So it's really great to see these faces. And what I love about this track as well is that there's no particular theme, right? It's wherever Web3 and Hedera can have the largest impact. And so that's where we really see creativity and open-ended solutions that are very likely to have a strong impact. So with that, let's hear from the winners.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to start in the order that I see. So I'm going to go with Kevin from Links Token. Kevin, give us kind of an overview of what you built, and congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys hear me good?
Yep, sound good.
Okay, great. Yeah, so Linksify is a tokenized index on Hedera. We sought to solve one of the problems in DeFi, which is asset management, especially for newer users, newer adopters, or people who just don't want to spend a ton of time min-maxing their wallets, right? So maximizing growth often means spreading yourself across staking nodes, liquidity vaults, and even arbitrage strategies. Most users only manage a piece of that puzzle, spending time juggling positions while tying up their liquidity. So what we did is the tokenized index is minted by depositing those other tokens that are in the composition at the ratio set by the DAO. And in order you can burn it as well. It can go both ways. But while it's in there, we look for strategies and ways that we can grow that token. And what I mean by that is that, for instance, right now we enabled HBAR staking on the contract. Whenever rewards come in for that, we roll it back into the token. The way we do that is by increasing the mint and the burn for that token, so that users can just hold links and passively benefit from those features that more optimized users get.
That's awesome. And I think that, kind of in alignment with what we talked about a little bit earlier, I think that you're going to see so many number one, I think that you're going to have so many access points for normal people that just don't exist right now, like in the future, as far as, strategies, maybe it's assets, maybe it's, whatever, but And I think that along with that leveling of kind of the playing field, you're just going to have solutions that just make it easier for kind of the users. And I would love, if you could tell Kevin, like, I think one of the things that Hedera as an ecosystem excels at is it's not like you have to kind of take everything or nothing. You can, pick which services make sense as a builder that you need to integrate. And maybe it's only one to start with, but then down the line, you need, 2 more, whether it be token service or consensus or smart contracts or whatever. What was your experience, and what kind of benefits does building on a network like Hedera give you for building something like what you guys are building with Links?
I mean, it's just like incomparable. I mean, first of all, just the network itself, the transaction fees make something like this more practical. Because if you're doing a bunch of swaps in order to get those tokens, you need to create our token, the gas can really add up. On top of that, all the HCS stuff just opens all kinds of possibilities. So what we worked on for this hackathon was DAO management using HCS and agents. So essentially, we can have the whole flow automatically go from the users voting to ultimately that, voting round being accepted and then deployed onto the contract, just automatically. And that's through leveraging HCS and the agents. So I love building on Hedera. We've been on it for a few years now, and this is our first mainnet launch. And yeah, it's been great working with it.
Well, congrats on the mainnet launch, and tell us kind of what's in the future for you. And it's awesome that you guys have been here for a few years. It's cool to see something kind of go out live into the wild. I'm sure it's a huge validation point for you and your team. But I would love to kind of hear what's next, and I'm sure the audience would as well.
Absolutely. Well, what we worked on for this hackathon was a lot of stuff related to the DAO. So we just launched. We're taking applications for that. If anyone's interested, we need as many DAO members as we can get in there, and that's really the future of it. Running some voting rounds, maybe seeing what happens to the composition. In addition to that, we're always looking at ways to try to optimize the yields we can be getting from those staked tokens. That a lot of them now are just sitting on the contract. We want to find ways of getting more growth opportunities from that to distribute into the token value.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining today, Kevin. We're looking forward to seeing all the future innovation, and congrats on a mainnet launch. And it's awesome to see builders that have been around for a while. And I'm sure as well as most of us that have been here for a few years, this network has really evolved. There's so much really cool stuff. There's too much to even take into account because there's so much happening on a daily basis.
I agree. HCS 14 just got announced, and that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, right after ETH Denver, it seems like you guys just took off, just really hit the ground with the DevRel, and I think it's awesome.
Awesome, Kevin. Well, thank you so much. All right. Well, so we're going to bring up next up onto the stage is Luis from Ascend, and it's great to see Luis again. I remember Luis's face from one of the prior hackathons. So, but Luis, I would love if you could tell us about what you built, and congratulations, and thank you for joining us today.
Surely. Greetings, everyone, as usual. Hello again. So, Efficient to like compass it all, Efficient is an AI-powered identity and payment platform that lets users pay with their face using secure token rails, namely the rails in Hedera. A built-in AI agent handles bill splitting, recurring payouts, and optimal routing, while also face scanning logging removes seed phrases and friction, making accelerated biometric native payments intuitive. So what we are trying to do here is actually having an identity platform on one side, while at the same time trying to reduce frictions, firstly in onboarding, because as I just said, we tried with several projects lately. The last one was a point of sale. The problem with the point of sale, especially for that one, is that even though you imagine what we did there is we gathered a lot of point of sale and handed it out to businesses, right? And the problem was that nobody's using crypto at this moment right now in this jurisdiction. So to combat that, we have to first, let's say, employ different kind of onboardings, because nobody's gonna adapt, at least in businesses, nobody's gonna adapt a passphrase for their for their funds, right? And well, at the current moment, well, crypto has like a lot of issues related to other kind of frictions. Right now, crypto is quite big, right? Like 4 trillion these past few weeks, but it is not big for payments. Less than 2% of that is used in real world payments. So how do we combat this? And it's by reducing all the frictions that we have in that way. Imagine that you want to spend any kind of crypto, right? You go to your wallet, try to spend it, quite easy. No, you are completely wrong. We have several points of friction between wallets. You open 5 different applications, you swap, bridge, top of your wallet. Well, that's not adoption, that's a maze. And with Efficient, we're trying to solve all those frictions by employing, instead of having like all these 5 different processes, just a prompt for the AI agent. So yeah, that's like in a summary of what we've done for this hackathon.
That's awesome. And I think, removing friction points, like if I were building it for a hackathon or if I was a developer, I would probably just figure out a way for agentic AI to like give me a breakdown of like stuff that I might even need from a tax standpoint. Like just start with compliance because, I don't know, it's not sexy at all, but like
yeah,
at the end of the day, like all of these different use cases are so cool because they're removing friction points. And, I think one thing, Luis, and you were in a previous hackathon too, and I'm sure that Kevin and Vincent can probably attest to, like a few years, and I'm sure Ed too, a few years ago, I mean, it's amazing to see how far we've come in a couple of years, a very short amount of time. So I think that we're going to, when we do these in a couple of years from now, I don't know. It's just going to, I think that we're getting much better and better at kind of removing some of the friction points for onboarding people, and it'll be cool to see. But it takes, innovators like you guys building this stuff to get us to that point of, I would say, mass adoption and mass implementation. But Luis, being kind of an OG and being in some of these older ones, what are your kind of thoughts on some of the services that excel in Hedera? What's the experience like as kind of a developer building on the network? And, I've asked the same question to everybody, so I'm sure you've had time to think about it.
Yeah, actually, for all the OGs, like the 3 of us up here, it has been like night and day from the first time we opened, let's say, any documentation of Hedera to now. You deploy the agent kit and also HCS10 and so forth, and now with the new deployment with the announcement of HCS14, then quite huge strides that you have done. Well, we think that Hedera stands apart from other chains because of one thing. I mean, it provides predictability through fixed transaction fees, which makes it perfect for payments in this case. It's a crucial advantage for payments in a sense, and for our project in this same sense. And by delivering consistent and transparent pricing, Hedera ensures that the user experience remains reliable and trustworthy, at all times. So
I think it's from your stance, and I know from an agentic AI standpoint, it's like when we see other use cases out there in the wild on other networks, it's like, well, the whole point of agentic AI is to streamline processes. Yes. How can you streamline processes if you can't accurately predict fees? It's like almost impossible, right? So I think that obviously is a win for the Hedera network.
Yeah, I mean, not even low fees helps you in that. You have to be predictable because, I mean, an agent is not magic. It has to be based upon fixed rules. And by having first a development stack that helps you develop fast on those rails and also have predictable fees, then through all that, you can come up with a sensible solution, as a solution that makes sense in the current market.
Well, I'd love if you could tell us what's next for what you're building with Ascend.
Well, we are actively exploring advanced Hedera protocols such as HCS10. Right now, most of our agent is coded. Let's say like 60% is hard coded on LangGraph. So we'll start like incorporating more of that protocol into our agent. But we are also like waiting for HCS14 and see what comes up with that, and actually incorporating a lot of that into our agent, and also like opening up those rails and having new possibilities for decentralized intelligent flows of payments, for example. And well, we are preparing to unveil a new feature in the coming months. And also, we've secured something extraordinary that will help us, let's say, to gather actually a surprising amount of users in a very short time. But we are not yet, let's say, allowed to divulge that. We'll divulge it in like 1 or 2 weeks. But at the moment, yeah, we're on it.
Awesome, Luis. Well, thank you so much for joining today, and congratulations. And as Luis mentioned, the tooling on Hedera is pretty amazing at this point in time. And if you're a builder out there, you can see above, we're only 1/3 of the way through this hackathon trilogy, the Hello Future Trilogy. The second one is coming up, and I'm sure Ed will tell us a lot more about the second one and the third one. But that barcode up above, $150,000 in prizes. I want to move over to Vincent from Novalax's standpoint. And Vincent, congratulations. Tell us about what you built with Novalax. And yeah, thank you so much for joining today.
Oh, hello again. Vincent from Nairobi. So the hackathon, I think, okay, what I built was I was trying to see if X42 can work outside base. But that was my point of view. It was so the whole project about Novalax came about around June. My friend and I were talking about USDC and how USDC can be used in in their company. They were working on an idea of how they can make businesses be able to get paid with USDC, and that's at that point, that's when we discovered Base with X42 protocol. And the idea was to build an AI agent that can manage recurring payments. And so we were thinking about something we can do with Base for recurring payments. And in the process, I had worked with, I've interacted with the Base and the protocol. And during the hackathon, I decided, like, okay, well, what if I just try to see if X42 can work in Hedera? So that's when I tried, because Hedera supports EVM. So I was like, let me try to see if it works in EVM. That's when I discovered like there's so many things we can be able to do with X42, other than there's so many things we can be able to achieve in X42. Some things like payment links, like what we see in a previous section. Someone presented something to do with payment links. We see like with X42, we can achieve a similar thing with just settlement being made and verified in USDC very easily. And some other thing we could see, AI agent monetization and payments. So an AI agent can decide to maybe access a resource. They can just do that natively on an AI agent can do that on its own with this. So that's when I decided like, I need to integrate this with Hedera. And actually the solution worked like a day before the submission, because the testnet was down or something had happened. So we could not deploy the USDC contract on Hedera testnets. Yeah. So and also we had worked on the previous hackathon, worked on an AI agent marketplace. And back in May, we presented here, and one of the questions was monetizations, and it was not really clear. But once I did this side of the hackathon, it was really clear we can be able to achieve that using a payment gateway on X42 on Hedera. Yeah, it's possible now. Yeah.
I want to ask Ed, because I think this is really interesting, and I love kind of when I see people kind of thinking outside of the box and figuring out, because at the end of the day, there is so much innovation going on across the entire blockchain space, 1000%. And whenever we see builders that are thinking outside of the box and leveraging maybe some stuff that's on a different network and seeing if they can integrate it on a network that they're used to building on, I think it's really cool. Ed, I'm curious your thoughts on that. Something like X402 out of kind of Coinbase's base ecosystem integrating with Hedera.
Absolutely, Solomon. I think, as you mentioned, that's one of the cool use cases that we can enable as part of this track, and also as part of the hackathon. How can we encourage developers to build solutions that integrate Hedera with all that innovation that is happening as part of other ecosystems, as part of all of Web3? And so, some examples of that include X402, perhaps other agentic frameworks that we could integrate with, other payment protocols that we could explore as well. And so when it comes to X402, that's certainly something that we've been monitoring, testing on our end, and trying to identify what kind of traction it gets. And so whether it's something that works out of the box, or maybe if you run into any issues or bottlenecks, we want to use the hackathon as a vehicle of experimentation, so developers can tell us what are the things that we need to develop, what works well with or when integrating with these additional protocols that are driving so much innovation in the whole space. So if you're thinking about maybe participating in Ascension, or whether you should consider bringing one of those protocols from a different ecosystem and try it out on Hedera, by all means, that's a fantastic opportunity to join one of these hackathons on the Hedera ecosystem.
Well, I would love, Vincent, if you could tell us what you're excited about for the future, what your experience was like. I mean, obviously, it's cool to see. I don't even know if I need to ask what your guys' experience was like building on Hedera, because you're back here a second time. So it was obviously a good experience the first time. So you guys are back here for a second time. But just thoughts on the future, Vincent. And again, congrats. And Ed and I will ramp this space down after that. But yeah, Vincent, the floor is yours for kind of a closing statement from your end.
The building was really good this time round, because I was now familiar with Hedera ecosystem, because back in April when we were doing the Hedera AI agent hackathon, it's kind of what I think the other guy, I can't remember the name, said about, it's like the first time opening the documentation and then you don't know what's going on, but this time round it was kind of easy to navigate. And I think it's really great the second time and maybe afterwards. And what's next would be like, we're finally going to finish the project we started in April, which was the AI agent marketplace, and also see what we can be able to do on the side of Novalax. Maybe finally finish with my friend on the side of recurring payments. We can be able to see with integrate. It's a side project we're going to do on the side. Maybe able to support cross-chain transactions and many other things, use cases we can find, because what we found in X402, there are so many things we can be able to achieve with the technology, given that we discover like we can now integrate with different networks in the EVM ecosystem. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. And congratulations to all of the winners from the Hello Future Origins Hackathon. As we close out, we celebrate $150,000 in prizes awarded to builders who've taken their first steps in the Hello Future Origins Hackathon Trilogy. And again, the barcode up at the top. I wanted to give a quick, before I transition over to Ed here, for those interested in learning more about some of the tooling on Hedera and the awesome kind of, again, tools that are at everybody's fingertips here. You can go check out the AI Studio, hedera.com/AI Tax Studio. You can learn more about Hedera Guardian at hedera.com/Guardian. You can learn about all the awesome services at hedera.com/services. You can learn about all of the HCS updates on hashgraphodline.com/docs. And this was pretty awesome. We talked to 12 winners across 4 tracks today, from AI and agents to DeFi and RWA to legacy builders and ESG and sustainability. What an awesome showcase. And Ed, I'm going to let you close us out here. Where can people go I guess, is there a Discord? Is there anywhere else that people can kind of go to learn more and find out how to participate?
Everybody can go to hedera.com/discord. That's going to give you an invite to join this awesome ecosystem. And there's going to be more details, more announcements about the upcoming Ascension Hackathon. Solomon, just to go back to some of the things that you were highlighting, I also want to give a shout out about the Asset Tokenization Studio and the Stablecoin Studio. So those are two additional solutions that are fantastic for those use cases on tokenization and also stablecoins if you're interested in continuing to explore the Hedera ecosystem and building with those tools. Another shout out that I'd like to make is to our partner organizers from Angel Hack. So Charlene, I know she's behind the scenes and she did a fantastic job helping coordinate every aspect of this hackathon. Also, huge shout out to the judges that made all of this possible. But of course, to the hackers and the builders, huge thank you and huge congratulations to all those winning projects. It was great to hear from all of them today. Now, that was not all the winners. We also have additional winners for a new developer experience track. It was like a bonus track. So those winners for that track and for the side quest, those are going to be announced directly on Discord. So you can hear the news on that channel. And finally, just to share more information about that upcoming Ascension Hackathon, Solomon mentioned the dates. It's going to happen between November 3rd and November 21st. So it's coming pretty quick. In just a few days, you can expect to see, the updated website for it. The registration is going to open up. So please stay tuned. Check out that Discord server. Stay on top of the timeline for this hackathon. And you're more than welcome to keep building on those solutions or just pivot and build something new. But we definitely want to see new hackers and all of the returning hackers for Ascension. Remember, this is a 3-part series, so plenty of opportunities to keep building, keep refining and optimizing, and ultimately win some prizes as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And Luis, if we have a closing video here, we can play it to kind of ramp us out. And again, I want to thank all of the winners. Congratulations, and thank you to Ed and Hedera and Angel Hack. So thank you guys very much today.